Hello, me mateys. Vuvi Yaloovie here, climbing up the ranked doubles ladder in Pokemon Champions with my favourite Pokemon, Alcremie. Am I right, me mateys? Because I'm right, because Galar happens to be my favourite generation of all time. And you know where Alcremie comes from? Galar, me mateys. Generation 8 Pokemon, and Generation 8 is instantly my favorite because of that. And we're going to be making a tier list today to determine, of course you already know who's my favorite Pokemon, right? But to determine where all the other Galarian Pokemon come into play. Who is my favorite Pokemon after Alcremie and Indeedee in Pokemon Generation 8 of Pokemon, me mateys. Oh dear, me mateys. Let's get into it. So, all these Pokemon here got to be set up in our wonderful tier list here. S plus for our favorite Pokemon of all time. S rank because they're really good, me mateys. They're S rank Pokemon. They're not quite in the top, 5 or 6 Pokemon, but they're definitely worthy of contention. We got the W tier. They're W Pokemon. Am I right, me mateys? And then we got the VY tier. VY, my guy. That's the Vuvi Yaloovie tier. They're the Pokemon that I like because they're in Galar. And we got the little V tier, the Victory tier, because if you didn't know, Victini was given out as a special event Pokemon in Generation 8. We got the V tier for Victini, who doesn't exist in this tier list, but it is for all the Pokemon that we like. It's not too bad, but yeah, they're in Galar. They deserve a little bit of a V, you know what I mean? Then we got the A tier, just really nice Pokemon all round. They can't really go wrong. And then the G tier, they're the Galarian tier, right? They're just Galarian Pokemon. I don't really have any strong opinions about, but they exist in Galar, so they're automatically a win in my book, me mateys. So, did I even... Okay, very good, yeah. Alright, so... Very good. Let's see. We shall go by Pokedex order, and I have to say, I have to shout out whoever did this tier list. They forgot to include female Indeedee. I have to add it myself. Goodness gracious me, mateys. What is this tier list doing? They have all the forms of Cramorant here, but not the female Indeedee. How could this happen, me mateys? Alright, so I think we'll just go by order of Pokedex here. And then we'll save the Gigantamax Pokemon for last. The results may surprise you, me mateys. Very good. I'm just going to have to sort this out. There we go. Okay. The results may surprise you on who my favorite G-Max Pokemon is, but we'll go from Grookey. Grookey. Okay, out of the 3 starters, I have to correct myself. I'm going to go with the starters first. Go by order of order the starters by evolution line. So Grookey to me, if it didn't evolve into Rillaboom, I like it a lot more. I'm sorry, Grookey, but you're a good starter. I do like the beak, but as it turns out, it's more of a monkey mouth, so it's in the Vuvi Yaloovie tier, me mateys. Not too bad of a starter Pokemon. I do like its design. It's okay, right? So it deserves to be in the VY tier, me mateys, the Vuvi Yaloovie tier. Now, Scorbunny's not too bad either, right? I always liked Scorbunny as, fire type, but it kind of doesn't use Ember the traditional way. It kicks rocks to make the Ember. That's quite a nice design point. And it's a W starter for me. A very nice W starter. W Scorbunny, me mateys. VY... Now I'm just starting to make sense of why VY is below the W tier. Oh no. Okay, no. I deserve to be at least in the VY. I deserve to be higher than W tier. Okay, yeah, very good. Oh no, BBs. It's already gone to very good straights here. Oh no. And then out of all the starters, the first evolution starters anyway, Scorbunny just is my favorite S-tier starter Pokemon for sure. Sobble... Oh, did I say Scorbunny first? Oh, Sobble is this... the S-tier starter Pokemon for me mateys. And if you haven't already, put on some music, because I'm leaving this video without any background music. So put on your favorite music and just listen to me waffle on about tier list Pokemon, right? Oh dear. Alright, very good. So, next comes the second evolutionary line. This is where it starts to differ for me a lot, because I went into Galar very much without looking at anything, right? I went in completely blind, didn't know what I only knew what the starters looked like, and I knew of Alcremie and Indeedee's existence, because they were my favorite Pokemon, right? So in this case, when I saw the starter evolutions, I was kind of like, oh no, what's going on here? So, for Grookey, Thwackey, I mean, Thwackey kind of belongs with Grookey. Thwackey just has a really interesting design for me. I do kind of like the leaf on the top, and then getting the dual drumsticks kind of reminds me of Dewott. I know some people are going to have beef with me over that statement, but like, you can see it in the eyes of Thwackey, just how much it wants to perform, right? And that, I quite respect that. I quite respect that out of Thwackey. So it belongs in the W tier for a W Pokemon. Alright, next is Reboot. Now, Reboot is, I like it because of the anime, right? I watched Pokemon Journeys, and Reboot did get some really glorious screen time, and the arc they had with Reboot was really nice. So this is more of an anime pick than actual Pokemon pick. So Reboot goes into the S tier for me. Pretty nice overall. And Reboot's not too bad, right? Reboot does belong with Sobble, in my opinion. And then, unfortunately, Drizzile, I'm not sure what happened with Sobble. I get it. We all go through this phase. It's probably just a little V tier, right? We respect you, Drizzile, but like, probably not the best designed secondary evolution, in my opinion. Rillaboom, yeah, Rillaboom goes here. It's an A tier Pokemon for sure. Actually, I'm gonna put it into G. It's a Galarian Pokemon for sure. The only thing that saves Rillaboom from me from creating a new tier list specific, like a new tier for Rillaboom, is because of that one anime episode with Go having nightmares about the Grookey, right? And I might be hallucinating here, but like, there's this one episode, like, there's one part of the episode where he dreams about Nurse Joy being a Rillaboom. And it's just so funny, me mateys. Oh no. Oh, very good. Okay, so next up, we're gonna go with Cinderace. Cinderace. Okay, Cinderace over time has kind of grown on me. Kind of nice, and it does deserve to be in front of Reboot in this case. Cinderace, not too bad of a Pokemon here and there. But then Inteleon, me mateys, I don't know what to say, but Inteleon just reminds me of the Spy Pokemon. Gotta love the Inteleon, me mateys. Instant S tier, me mateys. I don't know what they were thinking with Drizzle, but Inteleon definitely makes up for it. Love the Spy theming going on with Inteleon. Not really good with it in Pokemon Unite, but I use a Liquidation if I ever use Inteleon. I only use it when it's on rotation because I don't have the license for it. But that was when I played Pokemon Unite anyway. But yeah, Inteleon's an instant win for me. Kind of nice. Yeah. Alright, now we can go in order. Squirvet. Squirvet's not too bad. Pokemon Unite, it's devilishly fun. I kind of prefer it over the Thwackey line any day of the week. So it's a W Pokemon for me. And then Greedent. Oh my goodness, Greedent. Fat Squirrel. Okay, Chubby Squirrel. Nice. Love to see it. Speaking of chubby Pokemon, Rookidee. Rookidee, me mateys. How can you go wrong with Rookidee? S tier Pokemon. Let's see. Corvisquire. Corvisquire, the only flying type mid-evolution. Pure flying type, by the way. It's not too bad. It deserves to be a W Pokemon in my opinion. Corviknight. Corviknight. If you asked me a few years back, I would have said Skarmory's better. But, you know, Corviknight, it's kind of grown on me over the years. Actually, I feel like I just need to put Rillaboom back down. I'm sorry, Rillaboom. Corviknight, been okay over the years, but, like, it's not too bad. It deserves to be a W Pokemon, but for the purposes of the tier list, when combining all of this, Corviknight is above Corvisquire and above the Grookey line. And in fact, I might just move down Grookey there. So not too bad, me mateys. Okay, Blipbug. Blipbugs reminds me of that Crash Bandicoot scientist, right? You can definitely see it in the eyes if you just look at the scientist, like the Cortex minions, right? Not too bad of a bug type. I think I prefer the Vivillon line overall, but Blipbug makes a decent impression on me, being a W Pokemon. Dottler's like... It makes more sense on Crustle, like being a Psychic type Crustle, you know what I mean? I think I'm giving it the little V tier, above Drizzile. Dottler is not too bad, but like... It deserves it to be in the little V tier because not quite a W Pokemon for me, but it just doesn't have like the design elements I like with to be a W Pokemon for me. And in fact, I might just move down to Grookey and Thwacky tier. Grookey can stay in the W Pokemon, but not Thwacky. Okay. Oh no, sorry, Thwacky. Alright, Orbeetle. Oh, I love Orbeetle's design. The Ladybug Psychic. There's another Ladybug Pokemon I'm thinking of that deserves the spot better, but like, I think it's a VY tier Pokemon. It's the Vuvi Yaloovie tier, me mateys. Maybe this should be my favorite Pokemon. Okay. It can be an S. Oh no, me mateys. We're changing it up mid recording. Yeah, very good. Yep. So we'll just bring back down. Oh dear, VY is the favorite Pokemon tier list. So we'll just bring down this, and then yeah, S plus tier can go to this. That kind of makes sense. Yep. Okay, it makes sense to me. Oh no, me mateys. S tier, VY tier. This is that. I think I might move you down here. S tier, S plus tier, and the VY tier for the favorites. Very good. So S plus tier. Yep. Okay. Where was I? Oh yes, Orbeetle. Orbeetle, very nice Pokemon. Very nice Psychic type, Bug Psychic. Not very good battle-wise. I haven't really seen much success from it because running Alcremie, when you've got Indeedee in the same game, the Psychic slot just tends to be taken up, but it is definitely an S tier Pokemon for me. Alright, so, very good. Nickit. Nickit? I like that pun on the name. It does suit the Pokemon well. It's a W Pokemon for me. W Nickit. Thievul, on the other hand. Okay, Thievul never gave me a really good impression at first, but then I compared it to Spy Fox, and then instantly my impression of it rose, right? If you don't know what Spy Fox is, it's down here. If you know what Spy Fox is, kind of belongs here. I know Thievul doesn't exactly match Spy Fox, but it gives me the impression of Spy Fox, so that's why it deserves to be a W Pokemon. Galarian Zigzagoon. Galarian Zigzagoon versus regular Zigzagoon. I think I do prefer the Galarian one, even if that is my Generation 8 bias kicking in. But overall, It's not too bad. I like what they did with its movement pattern in the wild area, right? It still moves in a zigzag, and that's exactly what we wanted to see. And it deserves it to be a W tier Pokemon. Linoon, on the other hand, I think I just prefer the regular Linoon. There's something about this Linoon doesn't really connect with me, you know. It's a little V tier Pokemon, but it's better than these three. Obstagoon, on the other hand, yeah, it's not too bad. Quite a nice evolution for the Zigzagoon line. It deserves to be a W tier Pokemon. Gossifleur. Gossifleur didn't really make that much of an impression on me. It is like the Pokemon that you will always see if you're playing Pokemon Unite, right? Especially if you're an Elder God main, right? But it's still never really made an impression on me. It is an A tier Pokemon for being in Galarian Pokémon. Generation 8 bias, and it's much better than Rillaboom any day of the week. So, yep, A tier for Gossifleur. Eldegoss, on the other hand, kind of belongs in the V tier. Didn't really, it's not quite a W Pokemon for me, namely because I'm so tired of playing it in, whenever I have to play support in, in Pokemon Unite, but, like, it's a little V tier Pokemon, you know? I like it, but not enough to be a W tier Pokemon, in my opinion. Wooloo, oh my goodness, Wooloo. I'm tempted to put it in S+, but top of S tier. You cannot go wrong with Wooloo, me mateys. Especially Eviolite Fluffy Wooloo. Wooloo. Wooloomaloo. Oh boy, oh no. And then Double, a nice W Pokemon. I think I prefer it over Corviknight, but not so much over Squovert. And in fact, I'll move Obscune below Squovert too. Chewtle. Chewtle, it kind of made more of an impression on me in Scarlet and Violet than Galar, because it was so slow in Scarlet and Violet, like when it's trying to chase you. It was pretty funny, but it's a little V tier. Not, actually, either little V or A, top of A rank. Not much of an impressionist, but it's always better than Rillaboom, so, A rank it is then. Dreadnought. Dreadnought is kind of like the water rock Pokemon, but then you look at Kabutops, right? No need to question about Relicanth here. I think I prefer Relicanth over Dreadnought, but I think it does look a little bit menacing, and I quite like that about Dreadnought. So it belongs around here in the little V tier, just below Eldegoss and Linoon, but above Dottler and Thwacky Drizzile. Yampa, or as the anime calls it, was like one pun or something, like one punch. Let's see, Yampa. Yampa's not too bad. A fine W Pokemon. I don't really have much to say about it, but I do like its design, and the anime kind of made it better for me, so it is a W Pokemon. Alright, Boltund. Yeah, Boltund's not too bad either. I don't know what dog it's based off of, but like Boltund, yeah, W Pokemon. Oh, how could you go wrong with Roly-Coly? Look at the eye, it looks perfectly like a rock, me mateys. It's just a rock. Just a rock with an eye. S tier Pokemon. Carkol. You got the minecart going for you. Not too bad of a design, but like the head's just so weirdly misplaced on this Pokemon. I can't give it anything higher than I don't think I can give it anything higher than W, like at the bottom of W. But I think I have to go for the top of V tier, the little V tier. It's not quite a W Pokemon. Maybe the head could be somewhere better than just in the middle of its coal pile here. But thankfully, Colossal does make up for that and becomes a W tier Pokemon. The design fits Colossal where the head is compared to the Carkol any day of the week here. And Carkol's kind of just miserable with its wheels only being limited to the tracks in the mines, but like Colossal just makes up for that being a nice W Pokemon. Oh, Applin. Applin's like so silly. S tier Pokemon. I love it. Flapple. Oh, that's not Flapple. Hello, Grapploct. Grapploct then. Okay, Grapploct. Oh, Grapploct. Nice to see you here. Grapploct is not too bad of a Pokemon. I do appreciate its moveset and what it can do. As a fighting type Pokemon, it's really menacing, and considering where you see it, it's just so interesting that you see it, like, if you've played Generation 8, you know where to find this thing, and it's so strange seeing it where it is. It's an S tier Pokemon, but not for the same reasons these other S tier Pokemon are in. So it's in S tier. Flapple, me mateys. Oh boy, Flapple deserves S tier, and that's because of a specific quirk in its battle cry when it comes out onto the field, especially when we get to its Gigantamax form. Very good, me mateys. Appletun? I used to like Appletun more than Flapple, but because of that quirk, Appletun's fallen off for me. It's still a very W tier Pokemon for me. Silly Cobra. Silly Cobra, not too bad. Doesn't... Okay, I think I just prefer the Sandslash, like Sandshrew line more than Silly Cobra. That's how you pronounce it, right? I hope it is. But Silly Cobra definitely does deserve to be a nice little V tier Pokemon. It looks like it's that merchant on a like magical flying carpet, right? Especially when you combine it with the trope of the flute and the snake, right, coming out of the pot. Kind of fits that aesthetic, but can't go any higher than this, I think. Sandaconda just looks silly for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. It's not too bad. I do like the aspect of the nose just sticking out, but yeah, can't really get much better than Little V rank, in my opinion. Sorry, I mean Cramorant. Cramorant S plus tier. You cannot tell me that Cramorant... actually, this one's S tier. Cramorant... Fantastic Pokemon. We love to see our dopey bird. I love it. Let's see. Let's go for... Araconda? Oh no, hold on, me mateys. I can remember the name. This one's Barrascuda. This can't be Araconda. Oh no, me mateys. Barrascuda? No, it should be Araconda. No, that's a snake. Barrascuda, Arrow... Oh, I can't remember. I'm going to say Arrascuda. Oh, no. I have to look it up. I'm so sorry. I know all my Generation 8 Pokemon, but this one. Arrow... It should be Arrow something. Arrokuda! It was Arrokuda, not Barras... Oh, Araconda. Oh, no. Arrokuda. Oh, I'm sorry, Arrokuda. I've done you wrong, and because of that, you deserve W tier Pokemon for being forgotten. Barrascuda, how unfortunately I'm not a really big fan of Barrascuda. The design's nice, better than Rillaboom. But unfortunately, for me, it doesn't really quite leave an impression. I do like the Arrokuda better, so it is an A tier Pokemon for me. Not quite hitting the V tier Pokemon. I actually do prefer the Drizzile over the Arrokuda and Thwackey. The designs just make more sense with these two than it does with Arrascuda. Even though it's got like a cool niche behind it, I can't give it anything higher than A tier for me mateys. Galarian Meowth. Okay, Galarian Meowth, I love its grin. It's a W tier Pokemon for me. And Berserker, I love its grin. W tier Pokemon for me. Berserker's not too bad. It's like if a certain Pokemon wasn't in the game, Berserker would be my best Steel type, I think. Or maybe not the Steel type of choice, but like it is a close contender for being in the Steel type range. And I think I will put these two over Arrokuda here. Toxel. Toxel feels a little bit I feel like they wanted to create like a baby Pokemon, but it didn't quite land with me. So A tier. I'm sorry, all you Toxel fans. It just didn't land with me in particular. Toxtricity. Toxtricity is very nice, me mateys. I didn't know how to evolve it at the time and whether or not the natures mattered, but I ended up going with my playthrough what is this one called? I know this one's the amped form. This is the low-key form, I think. Yeah, I ended up with the low-key form. This one feels like a W Pokemon, but I have to say, after looking between these two, they both are kind of the same here, but the color scheme fits the amped version of Toxtricity a little bit better, and I think it is above Corviknight here, so very good. Low-key form goes next to Corviknight here. So nice Pokemon all around. And if you don't know its Gigantamax form, just you wait, me mateys. Alright, Sizzlipede. Sizzlipede, I like its face. I really like its face, and it's a W tier Pokemon for me. Centiskorch, I can't see its face as well, but it's still a W tier Pokemon for me. You got the mob boss style with Sizzlipede, and then the Mafia boss of Centiskorch here. Not too bad of a Pokemon overall. I did use it in my first playthrough of Shield, and it really did well for me. Unfortunately, it never did well in competitive battles, but that's okay. Centiskorch, you're fine with me in any day of the week. Alright, Clobberpuss, I think. Clobberpuss? Clobberpuss. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Reminds me of the enemy from Super Mario, and it doesn't have the set, because I compare it to that, and it doesn't have like the same traits I like about that enemy in particular, but it's still reminiscent of that, so that deserves a W tier Pokemon for me. Not too bad overall. I think I just prefer Grappled a lot better. Galarian Ponyta. Okay. This is kind of a weird thing with Ponyta. Since the transition to 3D models, right? Regular Kanto Ponyta hasn't seen its justice with the fire. I know they had to like optimize the texture for the fire, but it just doesn't look good on Ponyta now. So if this is 3D Ponyta we're talking about, this Ponyta is a W Pokemon, and then Rapidash kind of falls into the same category. I know we're talking about Galarian Ponyta, but like they're alright, right? But Galarian Rapidash, I'd say it's still a W tier Pokemon, but it's very close to being the little V tier for me. Sinistee, S tier Pokemon, no complaints, no additional words needed. Poltegeist, the original March-Gacha. You need a specific move on your own, my friend. You need to show Sinistcha who's boss, and I'm waiting for that day, me mateys. I'm waiting for that day when Poltegeist can make its splash onto the competitive scene. Hatena. Reminds me of Flipnote Hatena whenever I said that. But, you know, you fit the theming of your name very nice. And you're a W tier Pokemon. Hatrem. Hatrem's very nice too. I think you're a little bit better than most of these W tier Pokemon, and you're pretty much at the top of W tier in my opinion. Not bad, not bad. Hatterene, G tier. You took over Alcremie's job. You took over everything that people liked about Alcremie, but you made it into Hatterene. And for that, you deserve G tier, me mateys. I have a bit of a rivalry with Hatterene. If Alcremie's not in the game, or if Alcremie is in the same game as Hatterene, then Hatterene is instantly my least favorite fairy type. But when Alcremie is not in the game, then it's kind of a W Pokemon. But since Alcremie's in this generation, it's GT. Shame on you, Hatterene. Shame on you. Goodness gracious me, Hatterene. How could you like Hatterene when Alcremie exists? Alright, enough Hatterene slander. Hatterene's also a good Pokemon. It deserves W tier, but like for this tier list, it's G tier. And when you skip to the end, you'll question me, no doubt. So very good, me mateys. Galarian Weezing. I don't see how you can go wrong with Galarian Weezing. W tier Pokemon. Impidimp. I like the name. I don't like the style though. Top of V tier. I don't like it terribly much, but it is kind of better than these guys. So bottom of V tier. Morgrem, however. I like Morgrem specifically because of the animation for False Surrender. And because of that, it deserves to be higher than Galarian Rapidash here. Grimmsnarl, on the other hand, let's see. If we weren't considering its prominence in competitive, it kind of does deserve to be W tier. But competitive just makes me think, yeah, people aren't choosing you for the reason that I want to choose you for. So it's still, nonetheless, it still deserves to be a W tier Pokemon. Very nice Pokemon overall, and I like its theming. Oh, sorry, Sizzlepede, I'm going to put you above here. I don't know what happened. Very nice Pokemon overall. Very unfortunate that they had to get rid of the unique animations for Grimmsnarl here in Champions. Galarian Farfetch'd. I appreciate this Farfetch'd over the Kanto Farfetch'd every day of the week. In terms of it compared to the rest of the Galarian Pokemon though, it's a W tier Pokemon, but the anime helps it out a lot. The Farfetch'd in the anime was very cool. I loved it. So it goes above Yampa here. Surfetch'd, I don't know what you're gonna say, what you're gonna expect me to say, but Surfetch'd, magnificent, absolutely magnificent, cool Pokemon down to the Leak Shield and the beak as well. All right, Galarian Stunfisk. Oh no, me mateys, Galarian Stunfisk. If you ever got Iron Head or at least Steel Roller, be an S tier Pokemon, and because of that, because I want you to have a really good Steel move, you need Steel Roller, my friend. If you ever got Steel Roller, the entire world would be quaking in their boots. Not as much as like as it should be, right? I mean, it's still gonna do less damage thanks to being its ability, right? But if you ever got Steel Roller, my goodness, you'd be doing some damage. Alright, so Steel Roller, and hopefully like not nature's power or whatever, it's like a physical terrain pulse would be very nice on Galarian Stunfisk here. So it kind of belongs above the Grapple Locked here. Alright, let's see. Galarian Corsola. Not a really big fan of its design. Although that is to say, it's I prefer the regular Corsola better, but it's okay. It's okay. Now, Cursula, on the other hand, it's It's not quite W tier for me, but it does enhance on the theme of Galarian Corsola quite nicely, and it belongs in the top of Little V rank here. Alright. Galarian Mr. Rhyme. If you know me and Mr. Rhyme, it's an S tier Pokemon. I think I prefer this over the Kanto Mr. Mime. But yeah, this Mr. Mime, very nice. Love the tap dancing. And Galarian Mr. Rhyme. Galarian Mr. Rhyme. Mr. Rhyme, S tier Pokemon. Top of S plus tier. Everything about this Pokemon is fantastic. From its design, from the hat it wears, to the really weird mustache, and then its actual face, right, on its belly. Good, my gracious me, mateys. You cannot go wrong with Mr. Rhyme. And it is a fantastic Pokemon. And me, mateys, I don't know what you want me to say about it, but like, it's a comedian through and through, and I love this Pokemon. Might not be too good in competitive, but like, when it shines, it can shine, me mateys, and we'll love to see the Mr. Rhyme. Darumaka. Ooh, Darumaka. Galarian Darumaka. Darumaka? The Galarian Darumaka kind of reminds me of, like, a slightly better version of a Furby. If you know what those are. I'm kind of showing my age there a bit, but, like, yeah, Darumaka, it's a little V tier Pokemon. It's not too bad. I don't mind it. Not quite enough to be in W tier, but it's nice. I like it. V tier Pokemon for me. Alright, Darmanitan. A solid W Pokemon. I love the head they gave on this thing for the Galarian form. Very nice. But it cannot compare to Galarian Darmanitan Zen form. Good, my gracious. This even deserves to be above Mr. Rhyme. This Pokemon right here. When you can get this form, it's so powerful. And it's so ridiculous. And it's a snowman with an absolute Chad grin. What does the enemy team have to say about that? What can they do into Galarian Darmanitan Zen mode form, me mateys? That's a mouthful, but I don't mind saying it for Galarian Darmanitan Zen mode form. Good, my gracious. What a fantastic ice type Pokemon. And fire type, if you didn't know. Absolutely S plus tier. Never gonna see it anything below than S plus. Galarian Yamask. Yamask deserves a spot in the little V tier. I prefer the Unovian one. Not yeah, it's alright. Runerigus. I don't really have much to say about Runerigus. It never really left an impression on me, especially considering how weird it was to evolve. But it does deserve to be a W tier Pokemon for being unique. Very unique. Milcery, or is it Milcery? I think people would like to say Milcery more than Milcery. So it's an S tier Pokemon by virtue of being the pre-evolution to Alcremie, me mateys. There's no question about it. Alcremie's the VY tier for Vuvi Yaloovie tier, me mateys. My favorite Pokemon of all time. You cannot get away without having Alcremie on the team. And go check out my Alcremie tier list to see which one is my favorite Alcremie form of all time. Link will be in the description and also on a card somewhere in the top right of this video. I have no idea where it is in the mobile, so you mobile users will have to help yourselves there. But yes, me mateys, VY for Alcremie, the Vuvi Yaloovie tier. No question. You're not gonna, no question about it. All right, Phalanx. Okay, people don't give this enough attention as it deserves. It's an S plus tier Pokemon. Especially the Mega. It rockets it up to like top of S plus, but definitely an S plus tier Pokemon for me. I like my Phalanx. Ooh, but where? It's not quite as good as Galarian Zenmo Darmanitan. But it is a little bit better than... It's better than this form of Cramorant, so it deserves the S plus tier, me mateys. People don't give it enough attention, and I can kind of see why, but like, it is the most forgettable Pokemon of all time, apart from Maractus, of course. But like, I don't see why people don't remember this Pokemon as much. It never gets any like traction. And this image of it doesn't do it any justice. It needs to have the eyes show out here. So, very good. We're going to have to keep this image, unfortunately. But, like, oh, that's alright. This is a very good Pokemon for me. I think more people need to give it recognition. So, S plus tier for me. Pincurchin, on the other hand, you're just a budget Pyukumuku. Sorry, Pincurchin. Pyukumuku does what you need to do better, but like, you're better than Rillaboom here and Hatterene, so you deserve the top of G tier, me mateys. Snom? W tier Pokemon. What is there to question about Snom? Frostmoth. Frostmoth is a W tier Pokemon. Not really much to say. I love its ability. It kind of reminds me of special attacking Fluffy. I mean, specially defensive Fluffy. Reduces all special attacking moves by 50% on the Pokemon with Ice Scales. Not quite as good as Blipbug in terms of design, so it is in the W tier but below Blipbug. Alright. Stonejourner, me mateys. Now, for a while, I've been going on about who's my third favorite Pokemon, me mateys, and guess what? If you're reading this tier list right now, Stonejourner is the VY tier Pokemon, me mateys. How could you go wrong with a big rock Pokemon? No further elaboration is needed. It belongs into my VY tier, me mateys. Ice-Q. No ice form? W tier Pokemon. Probably S tier if I'm being real though. Ooh, Ice-Q. Ice-Q is just cool all around. No pun intended. Whether it's better than Wooloo or not is the question. I think it is, just slightly. Only slightly. These two are like tied. Very slightly. Ice Face Ice-Q? It's an S tier Pokemon by virtue of being an Ice-Q. But not quite better than Milcery. Milcery is very nice. Very nice. Actually, it's above Sinistea. What am I thinking? Actually, it's above all these Pokemon, except for probably, yeah, okay, yep. Top of S tier. Top of S tier, me mateys. Alright. Oh my goodness. Indeedee. Boom. Boom. I don't know what you were expecting, me mateys. Indeedee's my second favourite Pokemon. Oh no. Oh, very good. Male, female, doesn't really matter. VY, my guy. Alright, so. Morpeko. Hangry mode. I liked its appearance in the anime. Not quite doing it for me as in terms of S ranks, so I think it's around in the W tier Pokemon. Nice W tier, kind of above Grookey in that regard. And then regular Morpeko, I think I like regular Morpeko more than Hangry mode. Just not what I really want to deal with if I ever owned a Morpeko of myself. So it's just below Double Wool, right? Alright, Cufant. Really no big impression of this, but it's better than Pincurchin, so it belongs in the A tier. Now for, oh no, I remember your name. I promise I remember your name. Oh no, why do I remember Cufant but not your name? Oh no, it's on the tip of my tongue, I just can't remember. Oh no, me mateys. Two Pokemon I need to remember the names of. Oh no. No, not Maz. Something to do with fans. I saw you in Gen 9, but I can't remember you. Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry, me mateys. I need to look it up. Copperaja. Oh my goodness. Oh, how could I not remember Copperaja? Especially with the Elite Four in Scarlet and Violet, that was a very prominent threat, even though didn't really make an impression on me. But Copperaja, unfortunately, Copperaja does belong in the A tier too. Didn't really make an impression on me in the story, even with the President guy's talk, right? I don't think Oleana had one, but I know Rose definitely had one. It didn't really make much of an impression for me, but it's kind of better than Cufant for me, so it belongs in the A tier, better than Pincurchin and Hatterene and Rillaboom. Dracozolt. Dracozolt deserves to be in S tier. Not quite above Milcery though. S tier Pokemon, not quite above you, or you. But yeah, S tier Pokemon. I love its design. Really mismatched there, and that's kind of what they were going for. They nailed it perfectly. Arctozolt, kind of the same line, but the only thing that's saving it from being W tier, even though that's still a really good tier to be in, is the fact that it's got the nose. This poor Pokemon's suffering with a cold electric ice type too. Oh dear, poor Arctozolt. Hopefully you get some recognition in the future. Dracovish. Okay, this is gonna seem weird considering what I'm gonna go with next for Arctovish, but Dracovish is kind of a little V tier Pokemon. The backwards head and the backwards body doesn't resonate with me too much. Now, Arctozolt, on the other hand, the fish body and the reverse head, while it's kind of in a suffering state, I kind of want to give Arctozolt Arctovish the benefit of the doubt. Not quite better than Greedent or Scorbunny or Roly-Poly, but I do think it deserves to be an S tier Pokemon. Duraludon! I hate Archaludon! But, you know, because Archaludon didn't exist at this point in time, you deserve a W tier Pokemon. This was a generation before you became relevant, and because Archaludon didn't exist, I have to give you a W tier spot, just above Double here. I like its design in terms of what it was able to do in Pokemon Unite. I love the Flash Cannon build, and that's what I would always play for, but like, yeah, it's a W tier Pokemon otherwise, right? Okay. Dreepy. Dreepy, my guy. Dreepy. I do like Dreepy because of Dragapult, but apart from that, the fact that it is with Dragapult is its only saving grace for saving it from Little V tier, so it does belong to be above Galarian Rapidash in this case. Morgrem just has a little bit of an edge thanks to False Surrender. Let's see, Dracloak. Dracloak, I kind of like the design of Dracloak. It's kind of like I want to say it's the better form, but like, it's still not quite enough for an S tier Pokemon. It is above the Obstagoon for me, but not quite leagues of Galarian Weezing good for W tier, for me anyway. Now, Dragapult. Dragapult's always been that nice dragon type. Yeah, you can't... For me, unfortunately, the dragon type of this generation doesn't beat Goodra for me, but it is a still W tier Pokemon. Not quite above Obstagoon here, but I definitely like it more than Duraludon here. Alright, before we get into the legendaries, I still have Galarian Slowpoke. It's just a Slowpoke with a yellow head. And for me, I kind of like the regular Slowpoke better, but it is better than Dracovish here. So it does belong in Little V tier. Okay. Galarian Slowbro, on the other hand, it's a nice W tier Pokemon. I don't really have anything to say. I just like the fact that it's not the shoulder's not on the tail anymore, and it's using it where it would be thematically appropriate as a shell sidearm, you know. So it does belong to be above Hangry mode, Morpeko, and just below the Blipbug, in between, like tied with Frostmoth, in my opinion. But Galarian Slowking, this is the Slowking of choice for me. Kind of S tier. Barely not making it into S plus tier, but like... when you have things like Cramorant to compete with, it's kind of better than Gouging Form Cramorant. Not Gorging Form Cramorant, because the Pikachu just makes it so much better. But... kind of, yeah, around here, just below Milcery. Okay, let's get into the legendary birds first. Galarian Articuno. Over time, Galarian Articuno's been wearing off on me. I did like its initial debut, but trying to catch it was made it fall off a little bit, and then over time I never really got to see like the eye laser coming out too much from Galarian Articuno. Top of V tier, little V tier. Not quite in the runnings for a W Pokemon for me. Where are you? Galarian Moltres. This thing was the bane of any time I wasn't running a fairy type on my team. But I had Alcremie, so I was always running a fairy type. So whenever Alcremie was off the field, this thing would terrorize my team. And for that, it deserves to be a W tier Pokemon for being a nice rival. But apart from that, I can't really give it any much more credit than that. Galarian Zapdos, on the other hand, this Pokemon... I think it should. I think it's better than Milcery. That's how good I like Galarian Zapdos. I don't know why I like it so much. I think it's just thematically appropriate for Galarian Zapdos, if that makes sense. You're making a alternate form of Zapdos, and you kept the beak and the face and also the spiky theme, but making it a really fast runner instead of like a what was it in the main games, like a tanky yellow bird Pokemon with thunder coming out from it. Yeah, I think Zapdos top of S tier for me. Alright, now for the legendaries. Oh, I just realised Urshifu's not on the list. Regular Urshifu. But they got the G-Max Urshifus here. What are they thinking? Oh no. Urshifu... G tier. Both Urshifus, by the way. Zacian. Well, I picked Shield for a reason. Zacian, G tier. Zacian regular form, though. Top of A tier. Not too bad for the doggo. Yes. The reason why I picked Shield over Sword. Yeah. Still not quite the best legendary they've ever put out, if I'm being real. But it did come from Generation 8, so it does deserve to be an S tier Pokemon. Not quite above Squirvet, but an S tier Pokemon. Yeah. Above Galarian Moltres, in my opinion. As for regular form, Zamazenta, I feels a bit weird placing it lower than regular form, but like, it's still a W Pokemon, but it's somewhere between Sizzlipede and Hatenna. So, above Galarian Ponyta, I think. No. I do like... Yeah, no. I think it fits around here, just below Morgrem. Alright. And if I still can't see the... Yeah, there's no, the Urshifu, so, very good. I don't have to deal with Urshifu. So now let's go into the final legendary, Eternatus. Eternatus was very cool. There's still another few legendaries I prefer over Eternatus, but it is definitely an S tier Pokemon for me. A little bit above, the W tier, but it's still a very nice legendary. Eternatus probably goes into the W tier. I don't think it's here, but if I come across it, I'll put it into the W tier. But yeah, Eternatus was okay. I like the raid battle that you had against it in the... Oh, spoiler alert. I like the raid battle against it, but yeah, Eternatus belongs in the bottom of S tier for me, mateys. And so that is the Galarian Pokemon tier list. Now let's go over the Gigantamax forms. Alright, let's start from the reverse order this time. Gigantamax Venusaur. Mega Venusaur just looks better. Emphasizing the petals on Venusaur just doesn't do it for me. You kind of look like a really worse for wear Gloom, but you're still better than Zacian, so A tier rank for me. Let's see, Blastoise. I think they made it so that all the cannons fire, and because of that, you do deserve a little V tier. Blastoise wasn't really my favorite Gen 1 starter type Pokemon, but it is slightly better than Galarian Slowpoke. Just because they emphasized its cannons, I like that about Gigantamax Blastoise. Gigantamax Charizard, if it wasn't for the fact that your G-Max move didn't exist, you'd be placed a little bit higher. But they need to nerf your G-Max fire move for me to put you higher into the S tier, because you are a very well-designed Charizard. I can't put you anything lower than W tier. But I prefer Galarian Weezing a little bit more. Actually, I prefer the Hattrem more than Galarian Charizard, as weird as it sounds. Yeah, then Squirvet. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright. Urshifu, Gigantamax, both forms. The face, like the whited out facial expressions kind of do it more justice than Rillaboom. But, like, the novelty of Imposter Pukamuku here just that does it so much better than the rest of them. Probably below Hatterene, if I'm being real. It just, Urshifu is Urshifu, me mateys. It's a G. G tier for Galarian tier. Inteleon. Okay, so me mateys, in my opinion, they kind of flubbed it with the G-Max designs of the Galarian Pokemon. They did emphasize, like, they did do the job of emphasizing a particular aspect of the Pokemon, right? But what's the point of Dynamaxing when Aladdin could do the same thing? Am I right, me mateys? Kind of the same regards for, Gigantamax Cinderace here. I do like the face of the Pyro Ball though, so it does deserve to be in the little V tier at the very least. The face saves it, but it may as well be Gigantamax Pyro Ball at that point, right? Rillaboom, G-Max Rillaboom. Actually, I gotta admit, this one's actually better than base Rillaboom, but even still, it is a Rillaboom, so it does deserve to be above base Rillaboom, but it's not by much. I never actually got to see Melmetal in any capacity during my time in Sword and Shield, because I never played Pokemon Go, so I never got to see G-Max Melmetal. And when G-Max Melmetal came out into ranked, that's when I kind of stopped playing Pokemon for a little bit. I think it's a nice Pokemon. I like base Melmetal over the G-Max form, just what I'm looking at here. I know it's a really tiny image, but like, G-Max Melmetal, not too bad. I think I prefer it more than G-Max Blastoise, but Galarian Articuno still has a better design in my opinion. G-Max Duraludon. I wonder what they're going to do for Archelodon when it comes to Dynamax. I'm not looking forward to when that day happens, and I'm not looking forward to Eviolite G-Max Duraludon. But Duraludon G-Max form is just a skyscraper, and I love it, so it's a W tier Pokemon. Is it better than base Duraludon? Yes, I have to say it is better than base form Duraludon. But then again, base form Duraludon doesn't quite match with Dumbull, so yeah, I'm changing that up a bit. Yep, very good. Okay, Copperajah. G-Max Copperajah does leave a better impression on me than base Copperajah, but not by much. So it's the top of A tier for me. I like the design point and what they're going for. The snout being pretty much an excavator, right? But apart from that, nah. It's alright. Alright, G-Max Alcremie. By virtue of being an Alcremie, it cannot do any lower than W tier. But I prefer base form Alcremie. And because of that, it's at the top of S tier. Not quite making it into S plus tier, maybe? Nah, it deserves to be S plus tier, me mateys. Yeah, definitely does deserve to be an S plus. By virtue of being an Alcremie, it deserves S plus, but like, the wedding cake, maybe in the future, I'll like the wedding cake a little bit more, but at the moment, not quite VY, my guy, tier. G-Max Grimmsnarl, I have no idea what they were thinking. Make this green and might be a little bit better, but the shiny form is white, so it just doesn't suit G-Max Grimmsnarl at all. Kind of an A-tier Pokemon. Better than Rillaboom any day of the week, and better than Zacian, so better than Venusaur too. Yeah. Don't know what they were going for, but it didn't work out for me. G-Max Hatterene, it's just Hatterene, but slightly taller. I don't know what you want me to say, me mateys. Oh dear. If Alcremie didn't exist, probably top of V tier. Hatterene deserves to be a W tier Pokemon if Alcremie didn't exist, but like, Alcremie exists, so what's the point of having G-Max Hatterene? G-Max Smite is very annoying too. The confusion chance in Generation 8 was just so ridiculous. I never liked it. And neither does Alcremie, so G tier for the Galarian type Pokemon for me. G-Max Centiskorch. Okay. When I first looked at this, I didn't even realize that it was a G-Max form because I accidentally managed to get Centiskorch without, like, pretty much first go on the Galarian raids, right? The raid battles. And I didn't even realize it was its Gigantamax form. I was like, oh, this Centiskorch is behaving a little bit differently. I wonder why. Never made too much of an impression on me. I do like the radiation like design that it goes for when it curls up, but can't really do better than the regular Centiskorch in my opinion. Alright, G-Max Toxtricity. Good my gracious me mateys, this is such an S plus tier design. Kind of a little bit better than Alcremie in terms of G-Max designs, but it is Alcremie we have to face off against here, and against Alcremie, yeah. I know in my tier list video I said it kind of G-Max Toxtricity is better, but like when we're comparing all the Galarian Pokemon together, we're counting for the fact that we are in Galar and we're only working with Galarian Pokemon and not comparing G-Max forms together. So in that case, G-Max Toxtricity does fall below G-Max Alcremie by virtue of being an Alcremie. But if it was purely based off design-wise, G-Max Toxtricity is in the VY tier. But in this tier list, S plus tier. No lower than S plus tier. Alright, G-Max Sandaconda. Flygon does the Sandstorm better, I have to say that. Yeah, if I look at this and think of Sandstorms, I think Flygon, and Flygon just does it better. Still a little bit better of design than the regular Sandaconda because of what I'm going to say for our next G-Max Pokemon. G-Max Appleton and Flapple. If you didn't know, G-Max and Appleton and Flapple get a shared G-Max form in this one. And because it is G-Max Flapple, G-Max Flapple has a very unique sound. Well, not unique, but like the sound for G-Max Flapple is better than Appleton. So because we're also including Appleton into this, it's kind of bottom of W tier. Where's Appleton? It's in the same realm as Appleton. Yeah, I like how it sticks out of the apple. And then the sound design on the G-Max Flapple just does it for me. But because we are also got to consider that it's also Appleton's form, unfortunately it does fall below where Flapple is in the tier list, where it is, yeah, S tier. So it's a W tier Pokemon, kind of above Colossal now that I think about it. But yeah, considering we have to consider Appleton too, it's W tier. Alright, G-Max Colossal. I prefer the base Colossal better, but it's still a W tier Pokemon for me. W tier G-Max form when comparing it to the rest of the Pokemon here. G-Max Dreadnought was saved by the fact that it did appear in the anime, and it was kind of terrifying to look at. Just how it extended its neck. I did not think it could do that, but it is a turtle, or some sort of tortoise, and they can extend their necks, me mateys. Bottom of V tier. The Pyro Ball just does it a little bit better, and actually I'll put Pyro Ball over here. Oh dear. Actually, yeah, above Dottler, and above Dreadnought. Above all these Pokemon. Oh dear, I hope you're not skipping to the end, me mateys. Oh dear, above Melmetal. The Pyro Ball does get some bonus points. Alright, G-Max Orbeetle. I love its design. Kind of an S tier Pokemon for me. It's like on the same tier as Orbeetle. Base form Orbeetle. Love the UFO design. This would have went absolutely nuts in the Pokestar Studios, right, me mateys? But because its debut in Generation 8 didn't quite get that chance, so it's still an S tier Pokemon regardless. Just a little bit below regular Orbeetle. A little bit. Only because Indeedee exists, really. Only because Indeedee exists. Okay. G-Max Corviknight. G-Max Corviknight, for me, it doesn't really change much. The bigger wings, kind of nice, but you're not really adding much to it, in my opinion. The blades that swirl around it do make up for that fact, and that's why it's still in the W tier. But apart from that, yeah, W tier Pokemon below Corvisquire. G-Max Garbodor. G-Max Garbodor, me mateys. Never. I mean, it's alright. Didn't make a strong impression, but it's not making a bad impression either. I do like the G-Max Malador, I think it was called. Very fun to watch, seeing all the sludge and all the random objects just come out of the thing. Oh dear me mateys. But it's not quite better than some of these W tier Pokemon here. I will say it is better than base form Zamazenta. Alright, G-Max Snorlax. The first G-Max you sort of see, as in like, if you ever watched the anime, that was kind of the first G-Max they saw, and then Snorlax was the first Pokemon I saw in terms of G-Maxing. I mean, I think it was either G-Max G-Max Center Scorch was the first one I caught. G-Max Snorlax was the first one I fought, I think. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember. But anyway, either way, it's still a W tier Pokemon by virtue of being a Snorlax, so it deserves to be around above the Blipbug line and above Dragapult, slightly above Zamazenta and Obstagoon. Not quite as good as Squirvet though, so it deserves to be in the top, around the top of W tier Pokemon, me mateys. Okay, G-Max Eevee. I like what they did with it. I'm not sure what it's going to sound like now that they've gotten rid of the specific voice line for Eevee now. Yeah, nice S-tier Pokemon. Not too bad. They really did its design very well here. If only Eevee was a little bit more usable in terms of like using your Dynamax on, but like still an S-tier Pokemon for me mateys. Maybe like just below. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I have to move up Galarian Weezing. Yep, Galarian Weezing's joining here. Yep. Okay, that's great. Yep, not too bad, me mateys. Okay. G-Max Lapras. Oh boy, would you like to set up Aurora Veil for free? If you would, just use G-Max Lapras and all your worries would be swept away. Literally. Ice and water moves. I cannot give anything better to Lapras than Little V tier. It's better than Dreadnought, but not that much better. So there it goes. Didn't really leave a big impression on me though. Why would you be based off of all this song and dance when you're only concentrating on Aurora Veil setups? I don't know. But yeah, me mateys, it's not too bad. Not quite an A tier Pokemon. The shell on its back and the fact that it is a Lapras saves it from being an A tier Pokemon, but yeah. G-Max Kingler, on the other hand, S tier, S plus tier. I never use Kingler, but G-Max Kingler makes me think I want to use Kingler now. Look at this mustache. Can you not see how cool G-Max Kingler is, me mateys? Oh my goodness. Okay, G-Max Gengar. Ooh. This reminds me, they wanted to enhance the design of what that special move on Mega Gengar was in Pokken Tournament, right? And then they just made this. Kind of an S-tier Pokemon, but it just lacks the pure design of what you get from regular Gengar. So it's kind of below Obstagoon in this fact, but it's not quite an S-tier Pokemon. It's a really good W Pokemon, but not quite S-tier material. G-Max Machamp. Okay, G-Max Machamp. I do prefer it over the regular Machamp, I have to say. It did its design really well. They didn't really have to do anything. They just gave it pants and gloves, really. And I think that's all it needed. That's really all it needed. It's definitely a lot better than G-Max Corviknight, so I'll put it here. Yeah, that seems about nice. G-Max Meowth. Oh no, payday. Payday shenanigans. G-Max Meowth is the weird G-Max, but like, it works. Nice W tier Pokemon. Is it better than G-Max Corviknight? Yes. Kind of better than G-Max Machamp. I think I prefer it Obstagoon. I prefer Obstagoon over G-Max Meowth though. Alright. Hopefully I did the sound effect for that. Yep. The himself is W tier. We love our Kanto chubby Pikachu, I suppose. But I think think, I don't know, it's not that much nostalgia bait for me, so just slightly above G-Max Garbodor for me. And then Butterfree. I think I just prefer base form Butterfree, but G-Max Butterfree is not too bad either. The wings just don't do it for me, and that's what they emphasize, so it's a little bit lower in the W tier. It sits around the same place as Corviknight, but by virtue of it being a Butterfree, it does sit above Corviknight a little bit. Yeah, and me mateys. That will be it for the tier list of all the Galarian Pokemon plus G-Max forms in a single tier list. Let's zoom out a bit so we can see all the Pokemon. Very good, me mateys. So we have our favorite Pokemon, me mateys. And then we have our not-so-favorite Pokemon in the G tier, but they're all Galarian Pokemon. They all receive the bias of being one of my favorites in the in Generation 8. This is the full tier list, me mateys. Hope you enjoyed this tier list. I had a lot of fun making this. You probably might be surprised at some of the favorite Pokemon I had, or you might not be. But, oh, you know what? You know what? I think you deserve SVY tier 2. Ooh, it's very close. Ooh. That's alright. Oh, it's so close to being VY, but like, oh, it's in VY tier. Oh no, me mateys. Oh, very good. Alright, so me mateys, that will be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the tier list content. And we might be doing some more of this in the future. Might not be. Probably it will happen at the end of every season maybe. But for now, this is a very nice tier list to end off of the season for Pokemon Champions. And I hope you've enjoyed the I hope you enjoyed the content so far in Champions, and I'll be continuing on to make Pokemon Champions content in the future. Do look forward to more Mega Audino, me mateys, and I'll see you in the next season, cause I'm Vuvi Yaloovie, me mateys. See you in the next one. Ta and ta-ta.